everyone, welcome back to the channel. We are listening to the audiobook of Above the Clouds, Below the Stars. We are going to continue chapter 2, part 2. Let's dive into the chapter. We were only halfway through the training, but everyone had already decided a farewell party to be held on the last day of training at 8 pm, and the excitement had been brewing. In between theory lessons and practical drills, we'd somehow find moments to huddle together over lunch breaks, sketching out outfit plans and debating the menu like it was a royal banquet. Somewhere between planning the desserts and which restaurant to be chosen, another subplot started making the rounds: Mihela and Raghav. It began with little side glances and giggles from people in the back row, and soon it became an unspoken truth in our group. If Mihela looked like a princess straight out of a storybook, Raghav was nothing less than her perfect royal match. The way he carried himself, the way he spoke, there was an understated grace about him, the kind you couldn't fake. It wasn't just good posture or polite manners, it was that quiet old world dignity that made you wonder if he had stepped straight out of a palace drawing room. Mihela may have had a small crush on him too, but Raghav's feelings were locked away behind his calm, unreadable expression. Still, I was secretly rooting for them. Royal couples deserve happy endings, don't they? In the middle of all this, I found myself strangely happy. Happy in a way that was light and giddy. It felt like high school all over again. The shared jokes, the outfit talks, the secret crushes, and even the silly rumors. There was something comfortable about being part of this little bubble, where the biggest concern was whether the dessert table would have our favorite dessert. I hadn't felt this carefree in a long time, and I was quietly holding on to it, knowing that soon we'd all scatter into our own lives, in different skies, different time zones. Finally, I was thankful for this promotion. But then reality tapped us on the shoulder. The assessment day was just around the corner. First the theory, then the practicals. The party plans would have to share space in our heads with seat maps and service flow. Still, there was something sweet about preparing for two entirely different kinds of big days: one to prove ourselves and one to celebrate together. I was ready. I had memorized service sequences, wine pairings, the caviar service, the difference between Arabic and Turkish coffee. My brain was overflowing with luxury. We were assigned group practice sessions. I was with Joey, Sky, Mihela, and Raghav. We practiced hard. Perfect tray setups, service delivery, cutlery placements, every detail mattered. At one point, Raghav and I were waiting for our turn on the side. He looked at me and asked, "Do you think I have time to step out and grab something to eat?" I glanced at the schedule, but we were being observed constantly. "I wouldn't take the risk," I said. Then I remembered I had a vanilla flavored protein bar in my bag. I pulled it out and offered it to him. He hesitated, politely refusing, but I nudged it toward him again. "Just take it. Don't faint on me." He smiled, just a small one, but genuine, and accepted it. He thanked me quietly and tucked it into his pocket instead of eating it. There was something about him, calm, composed, and just a little hard to read. Sophisticated, I thought. Around that time, someone in the back gasped. The next month's roster had just been released. Instantly, the room shifted. Everyone pulled out their phones and rushed to open their app. Eyes darting down columns of codes and destinations like gamblers reading lottery results. There was laughter, groans, high fives. A few trainees found themselves on the same flights for their observation runs. I checked mine and smiled faintly. I was excited, My observation flights were to Istanbul and Bucharest. How cinematic does that sound? Joey was scheduled to fly to Sabiha and Dallas. Sky and Maria had been paired together for Kuala Lumpur, and they were already planning where to eat and what to buy. There's something uniquely thrilling about rosters. It's one of the hidden perks of this life. One day you wake up in London, and the other you go to sleep in Paris. And many a times when you wake up, you have to check the phone to find out where you are. No routine, no warning, just the world on shuffle. We were all headed in different directions, but all of us were stepping into the unknown with a strange mix of nerves and wonder. Maybe that's the magic of this life. No two journeys are ever the same. The sky doesn't choose one star to shine. Everyone rises in their own time. We chatted about destinations for a while, mentally packing our bags already. Then we packed up our things, wished each other good luck, and went home. Heads full, hearts fluttering, and minds racing towards tomorrow, the assessment day. I had practiced until 2 a.m. the night before assessment. Pages of theory, mock questions, tray settings, everything. My fingers were stained with ink and my mind was racing through SOPs and service flows. I felt ready. I felt confident. I had done my part. The next morning, we reached the exam hall. It was a computer assessment, so we were provided with login IDs and password respectively. We split up. I ended up sitting between Joey and Raghav. The test began. I was a storm. I flew through the questions like lightning. Joey glanced at me occasionally, puzzled, maybe impressed. I leaned in and helped him with a few he was unsure about. Then I turned to my right and saw Raghav, stoic, calm, crawling. He was still on the 12th question. 12? Maybe he's rereading questions a million times. Unbelievable. I had submitted my assessment first as always with a perfect 100%. That had been my signature for 6 years now. Finish first, finish flawless. So watching Raghav's face made me uneasy. Everyone else was still busy with their papers while I sat there idle, looking around. I decided to boost his speed instead and began whispering the answers to him. C, B, D, A, B. And it went on until we finished. It felt like we'd built a quiet bond in that moment. He submitted and smiled. He looked happy. But then the trainer announced a surprise. Those who are done with service assessment may proceed with their grooming assessment. My stomach dropped. I had completely forgotten. 20 questions, multiple choice, and I had not revised a single one. I felt my record slipping away, but I had no choice. I dove in. 3 questions left me blank, just 3, but those were enough to fail. 90% passing meant I could only afford to get 2 wrong. I tried to remember. I searched my memory like a mad woman, rewinding training sessions in my mind. Joey was already done. He smiled and signaled he'd see me outside. I nodded weakly. I needed help desperately. Sky and Maria were far. Raghav was nearby, but I hesitated to ask him. Once Sky finished, she quietly stood behind me to help on her way out. One of the questions asked if we needed an appointment to visit the uniform department. I remembered it had changed recently. It used to be true, but now I wasn't sure. Sky whispered false, but the trainer spotted her. Sky, if you're done, please don't disturb others, the trainer said with quiet authority. She walked away with a sulking face, and then Raghav, watching the scene unfold, leaned toward me and said, It's true. That's the question I got wrong. Trust me. I froze. Trust me, he said. My heart screamed false. My instincts did too, but I trusted him. I clicked true and submitted. The results popped up 85% in red. I froze. My heart shattered. Raghav turned pale. "Oh no," he whispered. I'm so sorry. I was wrong." He begged me to forgive him again and again, but I couldn't speak. The trainer approached. Her eyes widened. When she saw the screen, she sat beside me. "It's okay. These things happen," she said gently. "We'll arrange a reassessment for you. Don't worry." But I wasn't listening. I had broken my streak. Not just failed, I had failed on a question I knew the answer to. We were all dismissed for the day, but I was asked to stay back for reassessment instructions. Raghav stayed behind and tried to buy me lunch, which I refused. "Just leave me alone, please," I said in a polite tone. Still, he stayed, sat beside me in silence. Finally, I whispered, "It's okay. It's not your fault." I knew it was my fault for not revising and getting the other two questions wrong. He hugged me, shoulder to shoulder, a warm, soft gesture that surprised me. That's when Sky walked in and pulled me away from Raghav, giving me a moment to breathe. She didn't say much, just stayed by my side, which was all I needed. In some time, everyone had left the classroom. Eventually, the trainer explained the reassessment plan. I nodded through it, holding back tears, and then I walked out. The corridor was empty. Finally, some quiet air. I sat in the cafeteria, blank, shaken, lost. A tap on my shoulder. I turned. It was Joey. I blinked in disbelief. "You didn't leave?" He shrugged casually. "I was just waiting to say goodbye," he smiled. "Tomorrow's the practicals, right? Don't worry, we'll rock it." I nodded, embarrassed. He knew, he had to know, but he didn't bring it up. He didn't treat me differently. No pity, no judgment, just presence. I went home and cried, not loud, not messy, just the silence kind. The kind that leaks out of you without warning. But after a few minutes, I wiped my face, took a deep breath, and stood up. No, this isn't the end of the world. Yes, it hurts, but I'll handle it like a strong woman. I've always been one. And this will not define me. So I tried to rest up. The next morning was important. Practicals. Another test, another chance. And I showed up. Fresh, composed, and determined not to let yesterday stain today. I gave it my all and I did well. I knew I did. I could feel it in my gut, in the way my tray set smoothly, the way I paired the wines, the way my smile didn't tremble. Afterwards, we quietly parted ways. No cheers, no confetti, just a gentle hush of relief. Raghav walked up to me one last time. "I'm really sorry again," he said. "Let me at least buy you lunch." I appreciated the gesture, truly, but something inside me hesitated. Maybe it was the weight of the last few days, or maybe I simply needed space. "I usually don't go out with people much," I said softly. "Not that I don't trust you, I just don't feel comfortable," I said. He nodded, no offense taken. "I understand. All the best for your reassessment," he said. "Thank you," I smiled. Mihaela, upon learning that I had failed the grooming assessment, immediately ran to me and offered her notes. "Here, study these. You'll be fine next time. You're too good not to be." My heart melted. I hugged her tight. Her warmth stayed with me longer than any words. And then we parted ways. A quiet end to a loud chapter. Oh, wait, not yet. I was just about to board the cab when I heard someone calling my name. I turned around and saw Raghav jogging toward me, his ever composed face carrying an urgency I wasn't used to seeing. He stopped right in front of me, a little breathless, but still wearing the gentlemanly poise. "You'll come to the party at 8, right?" he asked, as if he wasn't even asking, but a gentle statement of fact. For a split second, I blinked at him. I had completely forgotten about the farewell party. Well, not forgotten exactly, but it had drifted so far from my mind that it might as well have been scheduled in another lifetime. After failing the grooming assessment, the last thing I wanted was to stand in a room full of people pretending to be okay. The thought of walking into a crowd of cheerful classmates, all perfectly dressed and radiant, while I tried to camouflage my embarrassment? No, thank you. But if I said no, he'd likely spend the next 5 minutes convincing me otherwise, wearing me down with polite persistence until I gave in. And honestly, I didn't have the energy to spar with his gentlemanly determination. So I just nodded, forcing a light smile. "Yes, see you." The effect was immediate. His face lit up with a happy, satisfied smile, the kind that told me my answer had been the exact one he had wanted to hear. He gave a little wave before walking off toward his own cab, his figure disappearing into the soft evening glow. And me? I bowed in mine, the smile fading the second I turned my head away from him. I went home, slipped out of my heels, changed into my softest pajamas. While I ate dinner, I couldn't help but wonder what would Sky, Maria, and Joey would be doing right now. They might have been already dressed up, laughing with the others, maybe sipping on a drink. And what about Raghav? What would he think when I didn't show up? After my polite little lie at the gate? Maybe nothing. Maybe he wouldn't think of it at all. Or maybe disappointed. And then the sharper thought came. I'd probably never see Raghav again anyway. So why did it matter? But tomorrow? Tomorrow I'd see my two girls again. And that's how we're going to end chapter 2, part 2. Thank you very much for listening. Hope you enjoyed it. Please do leave your comments below if you have any feedbacks. I hope to see you on part 3, chapter 2. Bye bye. Take care.